What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's JP to the one and only. I am only going to wait a few seconds. If you do not catch the beginning, this particular live will be available in my free community, the Real Life Business Builder community. The Real Life Business Builders community is a community that I am building up from scratch. I am trying to get away from the Facebook groups type of thing. What happens on these platforms is they have complete control of everything that you do. So you spend a lot of time building up something like a group. So you may have 5,000 members in your Facebook group. And when Facebook want to take your group or do anything like that, they do it. It's no problem. They go right on there and it's theirs because it's built on their platform. And the particular uh, thing that I'm doing in another platform, it gives me a lot more control. So I am using that platform to build the real life business builders, and I have another group within Facebook that has 1,000 members, and it's called Business Builder Basics. I believe that's what I changed it to this week. So I have started a book club within the real life business builders. And this book club is all about self-help and growing as a entrepreneur. And there'll be business books within this group, and there'll also be personal books. How I feel about entrepreneurship is, first of all, it's a mindset thing, and second of all, your personal life is very important when it comes to being successful as an entrepreneur. And until you realize that, you will continue to struggle as an entrepreneur. I know that I did it. I went through a lot the last few years, and going into 2024, I realized how important having your personal life together was. Because if things are not in order in your personal life, you are always taken away from your business. You are always trying to get that part together. So it's very important as an entrepreneur that you get your personal life in order. And that doesn't mean it has to be perfect. I don't know what perfect looks like in a personal life because life will continue to throw things at you. Things happen. You cannot try to be perfect in your personal life. And I don't believe that business is personal, but I believe that if systems are set up, then you can have things in your business that runs more efficiently than it would be if you do not have systems in place. So I read a lot of books. As you can see behind me, these are a lot of books, and these are not fake books. Somebody asked me about my background. These are real books. I have a lot of books. There's not even a lot of books. It's books under there. It's books everywhere. I like books. I like reading. So when I decided to do something, I did something that was natural to me, and I came up with a book club. So the book club is named after the group, the Real Life Business Builders. And this particular book club is led by me, but I have maybe a few hundred books that we could choose from going from month to month. So the first of the month, we will have a book chosen. This particular book I chose myself because I feel like understanding your habits is very important when it comes to any type of growth. And a lot of times we feel like we're going to grow regardless, or we try to fix things around these habits because we don't want to work on these habits. And this particular book was a very big book about habits. So reading is habitual, the same way social media is habitual, the same way watching movies or watching series gets habitual, or listening to the radio, or whatever you do in your spare time, everything is habitual. And I wanted to make sure that the book club popped off the right way. So we started off with James Clear. Uh, we started off with Atomic Habits by James Clear. And Atomic Habits, it sounds like something that's about to explode. So when people hear the word atomic habits, it sounds like, this is all these are bad habits. And that's not what the book is about. The book is about exchanging bad habits for good habits. And atomic, in the sense that James uses it, is about the small changes. So you have uh little bitty changes that you make within your life that make big changes. And If you know about a atomic bomb, that's what it is. It's a small bomb that has a very big destruction path. Like the atomic bomb can like drop on Earth and it's over. So it's things that you have to understand about your habits. And I hadn't read this book. I had not read this book before I decided to make this the first book, and I started reading this book this week. And I'm a little further along than I'm covering today, but I didn't want to like go ahead of people. And we have 4 weeks to cover this book. And I have the book somewhere around here. Oh, here it is right here. The book is this book is about close to 300 pages. Well, it's a lot of notes. So it may be about 250 pages. And I want to make sure that we cover the 254. So it's 254 pages in this book, and we have 30 days to cover it. So within 4 weeks, that's about 60 pages a week. It's close to that, 75 pages maybe a week. It's somewhere around there. Let's see, 70 would be 280. Yeah, so it's maybe about 65 pages a week. And uh, you want to stay the course. You do not want to get behind, and that's another reason why we're doing this group is that it gives you some type of structure in reading. I have bought a bunch of books since 2021 that I have not read. All of the books behind me that I had before 2021, I read. A lot of these books were books that I've read before. A lot of these books were books that I've read while I was incarcerated, and maybe about 3 quarters of these books I've bought since 2021, and I've been in school for 3 years. So I have not read a lot of these books. And then a lot of the books that I have in the book club are not books that I have physical copies of, like this one. Some of them are. So some of them are books that I have physical copies of, but a lot of these books I already had copies of before I got the digital versions of them. I already had physical copies of them because I wanted to read them, whether it was something that I seen online that gave the book some praise. But overall, the entire book club is all positive reinforcements, all educational, all informational. And I want to make sure that the people watching this understand the importance of reading. So I used to be a avid note taker. When I say avid, I took a lot of notes. So I used to read and take pages and pages of notes. And what I found was that I would take all of these notes and it would be notebooks full of notes that I rarely went over. So at the end of the year, I actually go over these notes. At the end of the year, I always go over my notebook, and sometimes it's 2 or 3 notebooks. It really depends on how much I'm reading, how many courses I've taken during that year, how many informational or educational things I've done that year. But every year I go over these notebooks because I neglect them throughout the year and they continue to build and build and build and build. So this year I made up my mind that I was buying me a very nice notebook. So I have my desk over here. I have a I have a active planner that I use now, and this planner allows me to take some notes within it. And let me get over here and get. I got a notebook. Actually, I bought a couple of these notebooks, and these are very nice notebooks. This is the newer one. So this the new notebook. I have another one that I've been actually using. It may be over here, or it may be on my nightstand or something where I take notes at. But this particular notebook is just a regular notebook, but it's very nice. It's hardcover. It's hard leatherish cover. I wouldn't know if it's real leather or not, but and I think I may have paid $20 for this notebook. So now that I actually have a notebook and I understand that what I'm taking notes for. So in reading, if you take a million notes, those are notes that you it may feel good to have all of that information from the book, but it actually slows your reading down and it makes it to where you don't really digest everything the way that you should digest it. And I've learned that about myself. So, what I do now is I read with a purpose. So, now that I'm reading with purpose, I don't have 10 pages of notes from one book. Like, literally, I would have 6, 7, 8 pages of notes from a 200-page book. Like, I have so many pages of notes. So, what I do now, and what I'm advising to avid readers and people within the book club, is that you read with a purpose. If you have any book, now I have all of these books behind me, and all of these books have a purpose. I understand why I ordered these books, even though I have not read about three quarters of these books. I understood why I ordered these books. Even the package that I bought with the digital copies for the book club, I understood why I have these books. So they used to say, if you want to hide anything from a nigga, put it in a book. And that was because we couldn't read. It was against the law for us to read. So the saying made sense. If you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. It was clear that we couldn't read and we wouldn't open a book because we had no need to open up a book that we wasn't able to read, that we weren't able to read. Going into 2000, maybe the 90s and the early 2000s, we began reading more and more. The literacy rate was the highest it had ever been. And what they gave us was something to read. And we began reading nigga, and we began to read nigga novels. And I call them nigga novels, but the more popular term would be urban novels. And there were some pretty good urban novels. You had The Coldest Winter Ever, True to the Game, different books like that that were great books. And then you start seeing all of these copycat urban novel writers, and it became like way oversaturated, and the trash began to be bigger trash and more trash. And the information that was available to us became so overwhelming that we decided not to read into the things that we were supposed to read into. So with the urban novels, we felt comfortable reading, and we watched urban novels, and then we start watching reality TV began to cater a lot towards us, and you start seeing Flavor of Love and different things like that. And I was in prison at the time, and I was young, and those particular shows were the shows we waited for every single weekday. Like Monday, we may have had one, Tuesday, and I found myself watching them a lot. And you watch these reality shows, and you leave with nothing. It's a bunch of drama, a bunch of mess. And the books were really no different. Like I said, at the beginning, there were a few really good ones. And then it just started to be junk and junk and junk. And we got away from reading. And I was one of those people that got away from reading anything of pertinent information. And that was maybe the early 2000s, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe. So going into 2006 or 7, I just stopped reading those books altogether. Like, if I read a book like that after that, someone whose opinion I trusted would have to say, "Nah, Jackpot, this is a really good one." Like, somebody would have to, like, talk me into reading something like that, or it would be something that I had read before, and maybe they came out with another book in the series. So you had, like, Deadly Rings. I think at first it was only, like, 1 or 2 of those, and then the 3rd one came out. So maybe the 3rd one came out in 2006 or 7, or maybe I ran across it then, and I may have read that then, but I never looked for urban novels after 2006 or 7 maybe. Like, I didn't care for them. I started to read things that were a little more substantial, and they had a little more substance in them. So, when I decided to do this book club, that was something that I particularly focused on, and it was something that I wanted to plan out, was that every book could be used by an entrepreneur or somebody that wanted to better themselves. And that doesn't mean that this book club would be 1,000 members strong, and I don't see it being that anytime soon. It may only be 8 of us, and that's fine. And it gives me something to structure. Like, it gives me a a type of structure that I feel like I need in reading. So, I wanna get into this first book. Now that I've introed the book club, I wanna get into this first book, and this first book is a New York Times bestseller by James Clear, and it's called Atomic Habits. Um, Once again, the physical copy is something that I actually have of this book, and I do have a lot of physical copies of these books. But I am giving away the digital copies of this book to anybody that's in my real life business builders community, and it's free. I'm not selling anything within the community other than the community. Like, I'm not telling anybody to buy anything. My regular offers are still my regular offers. If you're within the community, I may end up doing a discount for people within the community if they want certain things, but they have to be active within the community, not just you added your email and went on about your business. So I will figure that out going down the line. But right now, there is no financial gain with being in a community. This is a community of people that I want to learn from each other, different resources, and uh, sharing those resources. And these are people that uh, look to better themselves. So I don't like the junk and mess within Facebook, and I don't want to uh, build my community within Facebook per se. I want to make sure that my community is separate from Facebook, so they are not running my community. I want to be able to give people files and, for instance, I shared my blog on Facebook yesterday or last night, and it told me I couldn't share my blog. These like social media is crazy. They have you on there, promoting yourself and promoting their platform and everything that you do. The more people on the platform, the more money they make. I know it's free, but that's the catch. They are selling information, and they are selling ads to us. They're selling ads to us, and I'm actually preparing to buy more ads for my business. But um, social media is a drug, and going on here so many other things going on that you want to build your own community. If you are a coach or any other type of expert, you have to build a community outside of social media, and you do not want to be left behind in doing that. It is not time to sell courses. That was 2020, 21, whatever. It is definitely time for you to build your community and build your tribe up, and you will not be able to do that within social media. You have to have a separate application for your community. If you do not have a separate application, if you are not building a community outside of social media, you are going to be left behind. You have missed the course bus. I am never selling courses. I'm giving courses away. And I have 2 courses that I did within the last 30 days, and they are free. That's Real Life XP, and it's about 5 hours plus worth of material for you to take extensive notes. There's a workbook that goes with it, but I'm telling you, if you want to get the most out of this type of course, you have to take notes and take action steps. Your notes should not be 20 pages long, as I stated earlier. I would do stuff like that before. Now my notes are action steps. If you are taking a course or if you are reading a book, you should have at least 2 sets of notes. And if you are taking a course, you may have 2 to 3 pages worth of notes, maybe, but you should have at least 3 to 5 action steps from every course or every book that you read. If you do not have 3 to 5 action steps from a course or a book, then you are wasting your time. That is not something conducive to your growth, and that is not something that will benefit you in the long run. So you need to watch what you're reading, watch what you're listening to, watch what you're watching, be cautious and be conscious of everything that you are putting in your mind and everything that you are putting in your body. It is very important. People talk about my skin. Oh, your skin. I drink a lot of water. My skin is decent because I drink a lot of water. It's not anything special or particular. My daughter has a skin regimen. She's always talking about her skin regimen. Every day, my skin regimen. I don't have a skin regimen. I drink a lot of water and I wash my ass. Like that's it. Like I wash my ass. I do have something that I put on my face after I got out the shower, like a moisturizer. But that's it. I have decent skin because I drink a lot of water. I don't drink pop. I do drink energy drinks a little bit too much, maybe a little bit too much caffeine. But other than that, I am not putting pop and other things like that in my body. And that's the only advice I give to people when they ask me, like, dude, you about to be 40 this year and you have really nice skin. I know y'all watching this on a video, like we don't know because it's filters and all that stuff, but I have decent skin. If you ever get around me, I have like really nice skin. My family is pretty decent with skin. So some of it is genetics, and a lot of it is the fact that I don't drink a lot of BS. I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat in about 2.5 years now. I haven't eaten pork in about 14 years, I believe it's been. Ooh, I would be lying. It's been 15 years since I've eaten pork. April 1st of this year will make 15 years since I've tasted 16 years. 2008, April 1st was the last time that I ate pork. Like the end of March was the last time I ate pork. I quit eating pork April 1st of 2008. So it's been over 16 years since I've eaten pork consciously. I don't know, people cook and you don't know it's pork. Usually if I consume something like that, I get real sick. So I would know, but it's been a long, 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 long time since I've consciously eaten pork. Uh Congratulations to myself for that. I didn't even realize it'd been 16 years, but it's been about 2.5 years since I've eaten meat, and I drink a lot of water. I don't drink any pop unless it's like some type of emergency. Like if I'm somewhere at a cookout and all you got is pop and I'm thirsty, I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm going to the store. I'm be like, man, just give me this purple stuff and I'm gonna drink this right quick, a little bit of this. But other than that, it's about taking care of yourself. So if you are reading anything and you get nothing from it, then you just I wouldn't say you wasted your time. Maybe you entertained yourself. I don't do a whole lot for entertainment. Now I understand the importance of time and I'm putting something together. I have a plan. So I am reading with a purpose. And what reading with a purpose means is that I may end up with a page or two or notes, maybe, but I leave every single book with at least 3 to 5 action steps. If I watch a podcast for an hour, hour and a half, I leave with 1 to 2 action steps. I am reading with a purpose. You should read with a purpose. You should consume media with a purpose. And if you do not leave a podcast with at least 1 to 2 action steps, you are watching the wrong podcast. I don't do anything for entertainment except battle rap. Literally, literally battle rap, and I'm sorry, sports. I love sports. So battle rap and sports, the only thing I do for entertainment. I am not reading for entertainment. I am reading for educational purposes. And I'm making sure that when I'm done reading, I am leaving with at least 3 to 5 action steps. If the book is 200 pages, it's no reason for you to not have 3 to 5 action steps. And every single book within this book club will give you at least 3 to 5 action steps. You may leave with more than that, but then you start junking up your action steps. And once again, you start doing nothing. But if you read a book, you should leave with 3 to 5 action steps, and you may have 10 to 20 notes. That's it. You should not have pages and pages and pages and pages of notes and no action steps. If you read something important, you should have 10 to 20 notes and at least 3 to 5 action steps. And that was a good read. And you should start implementing whatever you read immediately. So we can really get into Atomic Habits now. I'm sorry, y'all went all off left field. So, Atomic Habits by James Clear is all about doing little things and making sure that those little things turn into habits. And that's important because small habits make a big difference. And you should be able to get 1% better every day. So, the way that 1% compounded looks is different depending on if you are doing something positive or doing something negative. So, positive compounding includes your productivity, your knowledge, your relationships. And that 1%, it grows. If you understand compound interest, then you understand how compound interest grows. It is not regular interest, it is not a 3% interest yearly. Compounded interest means everything that's within the full amount is compounded and interest is added and that's compounded too. So that's the same way your habits work, positive or negative. And if you see how a negative compounding is, within a year, you're going to be so far behind. If you do not get 1% better a day, you're getting 1% worse a day. You will be so far behind because the way time works, you are getting older. You should learn something every day. Once again, if you're consuming any type of media, I'm from music, podcasts, books, movies, you should learn something every day and be able to get 1% better. Negative compounding includes your stress, negative thoughts, and outrage. So, negative thoughts is something that I am big on controlling. We go through so much as minorities, just as people in general, and you go through so much, and you get 35, 45 years old, and you don't even realize how damaged your mindset is. You don't even understand how many negative thoughts you give yourself all day. You come up with an idea, you talk yourself out of it. You see something great and you say, well, that's for them, that's not for me. I've never had that. You see a nice car that you would love to have, and you say, well, my car get me from A to B, I'm good. And that's a problem. And that's a problem that I had to deal with because I've always been okay. But that doesn't mean I've always had what I wanted. Being okay is fine. And I'm not a flashy person. I'm not a person that feels like I need everything in the world. I want big diamond chains. I have some decent stuff that I'm cool with when I want to dress up. But I'm not a person with big diamond necklaces and, big crazy gaudy jewelry and big stupid Bentleys and different things like that. And I don't mind having that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to realize, like, dude, you may be okay with what you have, but it's nothing wrong with wanting to be great. It's nothing wrong with wanting a chauffeur or a maid or something. It's nothing wrong with it. I had to talk myself into this going into this year. Like, dude, I'm looking at my life and I'm looking at, okay, you're about to graduate, you're about to have an MBA, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what does the future look like? And I had to realize, like, you selling yourself short. You can be great. I made six figures last year. That was okay. I made six figures. It was fine. I hustled and made six figures. But what if I can make six figures next year without doing so much work? With enjoying the money that I made. Like, I'm literally busting my ass to make my money. And I thought about it like, dude, what a good future looks like is not working so hard and making more money. So that was something I had to deal with because I've never seen anybody walk on a stage and make $10,000. I've never seen anybody do the certain things that I'm seeing people do now. So you have to change your thought process in order to change your life. And that's what this is all about, is getting that type of thought process out of your head by changing your habits, changing your thought process. So we believe that progress is linear. So we think we do something, we do something, we do something, we should see this growth like creep up. And that's not how progress works. So how progress works is you make progress and you don't even realize how much progress you're making because you may not see it. It may not come out in the money that you're making or some type of material thing. Or if you're working out, you may not see results the first 3 months. Like, it may not come like I'm working hard, I'm gonna see X, Y, and Z. It may not come that way. How results come is you see it, you go, 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 and then it take off. It could take one thing for everything that you've built over the past 8 years to shoot you to the moon. We see this and people say, oh, it was overnight or oh, it was this. Like, nah, they worked their ass off to get there. And they didn't go from 2,000 followers to 3,000 followers to 4,000. Like, it may not have looked like that. It may have been 2,000 followers, 2,500 followers, 3,500 followers. It made a crep, 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 crep. And then something went viral. Boom, they took off. Now they got 20,000 followers, 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers. Even though they've been making content for 4 or 5 years, it only takes one particular thing to click, and everything that you've been doing over the past 4, 5, 6 years it all adds up. So stop looking for results to be incremental. That's not how progress is. It's not linear. So another thing that James talks about in Atomic Habits is forgetting about your goals and focusing on systems. So with this concept, it is not a bad idea to set a goal. So let's say your goal is to make $100,000 this year. That is fine. That gives you a goal, gives you something to shoot at. Then you may write out action steps to help you reach this goal. That is fine. But you need a system to reach this goal. So the winning team and the losing team had the same goal. They came out to win a championship. If you're on either team, you did not do anything wrong. You had a goal. The difference between the winner and the loser is usually systems. It's usually systems. How often do you practice? How often do you work out? How often do you have group conversations? You review video footage? How often are you doing certain things? How do you recruit? What is the culture of your team? Is everybody getting along? Does people like the coach? Do they listen to the coach? Do they trust the coach? Systems are more important than goals, even though you can set a goal so that you know how to devise your system. If you know how to build out your system and what you're actually building your system for, then you understand what's needed within your system. So let's say Henry Ford decided, hey, I'm going to build a car. If he didn't know what he needed the car for, then he wouldn't know where to start. So having goals are okay, but your life shouldn't be about goals because if you miss a goal, then you're down. If you hit a goal, then you're up. It's ups and downs. It's ups and downs. If you have a system, then you are creating continuous goals, and these goals are being set, they're being met, they're being set, they're being met, they're being set, they're being met. And you're not worried about winning or losing. You have a system. The system works. That's all that's important is if the system works. Because if you're setting goals and you're reaching goals and you're not reaching your goals, then it's a up and down. It's a up and down. So when you don't reach your goals, then you're down for a little bit. Maybe you didn't reach the weight you wanted to reach. So now you're eating more junk food and not working out. And this can be harmful. But if you have a system, you're more worried about getting to the gym 4 days a week, working out for that hour, and you have a certain calorie count that you're aiming for, maybe. But whatever it is, you have a system. I know when I go in here, I do X, Y, and Z. That's more important than setting a goal because we are human. Missing a goal can set you back. Missing a goal can also skyrocket you. It can also put fuel in your back. But a lot of us get down, man, I missed that goal. And now the system that you're using now, you feel like it's not working. If you build a system and you trust the system, then you are looking at the system. That does not mean you don't go in and you make minor changes and you do things to your system. But you understand that I have a system. I'm not worried about winning or losing. I have a system. And as long as I am perfecting this system, then I'm always in the race. I always have a chance of winning because my system works. And that's how you have to look at your personal life. And that's how you have to look at your business. I am not worried about who's in my life for whatever they got going on. I am worried about my system and how my system works. And in working my system, I am not looking for more moving parts that's needed because the more moving parts you add to your system, the less control you have over it. So you need to implement systems within your system to make sure that your system is working and it's working properly and it's doing what you need it to do. Just having good habits is not enough. You can have good habits that's not pertinent to what you're trying to do in the long run. And that's why you have to always look at your system and not your goals. You may make $100,000 this year if you set that goal, but you don't have the system set up to do it again next year. That's why it's important to worry about the system and not the goal. The goal can help you design the system, but the goal should not be the be all end all because you could be selling yourself short. You could say, I want to make $100,000 this year, and you can put the system in place to make $200,000 next year, even though you met your goal of 100,000 this year. You have the system in place. Now you're looking at it like, well, I know what to do. I know how to run these ads. I know how to uh, automate my lead magnets and different things like that. And you're looking at the system now. My system works. Now I know that if I put $100 in an ad today, that I can make $150. So now I know that I'm going to get my money back and another 50% of that. So if you put $10,000 into an ad, you should be aiming for $15,000 back. And you can always look at that and say, my system works. Just reaching a goal is not enough. That was a lot of the stuff that was covered in the first chapter. In the second chapter, James talked about the layers of behavior change. And this layer is, and this particular three layers consist of the outcomes, the process, and then the identity. So, in your outcomes, that is what you see on the outside. So, you could have an accomplishment, let's say a certification, or I just graduated. So, let's say this diploma, which is technically just a piece of paper. It's literally just a piece of paper, and it gives me the opportunity to put MBA at the end of my name to say that I acquired this piece of paper. That's pretty much what a diploma is. It announces that I've covered some type of syllabus that's accredited nationally in college. That's all that it is. So I'm not a person that think school is everything. I went to school because I lack structure. I lack structure in my life, and I needed some type of structure. So that is an outcome, and that is the top layer of the behavior change. You may say, "I want to work out because I wanna lose some weight." That is an outcome. I wanna lose some weight. I just wanna work out because I wanna lose some weight. So, that's the outer layer. Now, the layer right under that layer is the process. So now I work out because I like working out or whatever. I just work out. I work out. So that's fine. You got the process. I like going to the gym. That's fine. I work out because I like going to the gym. That's the second layer. So you have the outer layer, which is outcomes. I work out. I need to lose weight. That's an outcome. I'm losing weight or I'm getting in shape, whatever. That's an outcome. The process would be I like going to the gym. I go to the gym 3 times a week. That is the process. That's the second layer. The third layer would be your identity. That would be I'm not that I'm a person uh, that I'm losing weight or I go to the gym. The identity would be he's a health nut or he's a person that works out. That's your identity. Oh man, he's really into the gym. He likes being in shape. That's your identity. So when you are working on your habits, you should be focused on the third layer, the inner layer, your identity. So me being a vegetarian, um, it can let's use that as an example. So from the outside, the outcome would be I don't eat meat. Say I want to lose weight, whatever. I want to be healthier. I don't think meat is healthy. I don't like the way it's processed, whatever. So that's the outcome. I don't eat meat. That's the outcome. The process would be I only eat vegetables. I just whatever. So you have a process of not eating meat, but the identity would be I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. Your identity. Same thing with smoking. If you're a smoker, the outcome would be I don't smoke. Right? You don't smoke or whatever. Your process would be uh I do something other than smoke, whatever that be. Your identity would be he's a non-smoker. That's just understanding what that process, the three layers of behavior change is. And then you have a two-step process of changing your identity. So any type of habit, it should be focused on your identity, not the outer layers. All of your habits should be focused on your identity. He's a learner, or he's a this, or she's a this, not a oh, he read a book. Okay, you read a book. That's the outcome. I read a book. I finished the book. That's just the outcome. The process was actually reading the book. The identity would be, oh, he's an avid reader. I'm just explaining the three layers of behavior change. Are you a reader? Are you an avid reader? That would be your identity. Reading would be your process. The outcome would be you read a book. You are not an avid reader because you read one book. You are not a non-smoker because you didn't smoke today. You are in the process of not smoking. Your identity would be you haven't smoked, you're a non-smoker. You haven't smoked in 10 years, I'm a non-smoker, right? So I'm just trying to make sure that that is clear. And then you understand the two-step process of changing the identity. You want to change your identity, not just change a habit. So in changing your identity, you had to decide the type of person you want to be, and then you prove it to yourself with small wins. So you can say, I don't want to smoke, I want to be a non-smoker. And you can not smoke for a week. And you see this in things like Alcoholic Anonymous, where they have different awards or different plaques or medals for different stages in your non-drinking. That is understanding the small wins. Small wins motivate you to continue on your progress. So, in this process of changing your identity, you need to decide the type of person you want to be. So, when you set a goal, your goal could be, I want to make $100,000 this year. But you need to understand what it takes to make that $100,000. So you don't want to make $100,000 this year. You want to become the type of person that makes $100,000 a year. That's the type of attitude you have to take on. When you see a goal or you set a goal, you have to understand what's needed to reach that goal. You need to understand the type of person that reaches that goal, and then you become that person. If you are not able to become the person that reaches that goal, then you will never reach that goal unless you have some type of lucky streak or you do some sideways stuff and you hit a lick. I mean, you could be a person that make 100,000 if you scamming. We see these people on the news every day. But if you want to make $100,000 and you want to do this continuously and without it being luck or some type of uh happening, if you need to be the person that makes $100,000. You need to have the attitude of the person that makes $100,000. You need to realize what type of person makes $100,000 a year, and you need to do what needs to be done to become that person. You need to pick up those habits. So if you see that the person that makes $100,000 a year is not out partying unless they're being paid for it, there's some type of promoter or a DJ or whatever. If you see that the people that's making $100,000, they're somewhere on the weekend studying or getting ready for the week, then you need to do that. Or you don't want to be the person making $100,000. You want $100,000 to fall in your lap. People have to understand the difference. Setting the goal to do something. I want to make $100,000 this year. That is fine. That is great. I did it last year. And I set a goal and I didn't understand this type of concept. And going into this year, I actually understood this type of concept. And I was saying, what type of conversations would I need to have to be a millionaire? What type of person do I need to be a millionaire? Who do I need to talk to be a millionaire? I know that $1 million is not going to fall in my lap. I know that uh, becoming a millionaire is not going to happen overnight. I understood that there are some things in my life that I have to change if I want to accomplish this goal. I have to become the person that accomplishes this goal. You need to understand that. Stop thinking because you wrote it down is going to happen. Once you write it down, so let's say you are, I'm only using this $100,000 things because it's a concept that people can relate to. Like I said, I'm looking at, I want to make $1 million. Like I'm not looking at, I would just want to make $100,000. So I don't want people to think, oh, you think it's small. I did it. I did it last year. I bust my ass for it. I literally bust my ass for it. I was in school too, so maybe busting my ass felt a little harder. But once I realized, like, dude, you're getting out of school, you can do better. Like, you can do more than that. You can accomplish more than that. Don't sell yourself short. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this. So next year, I am planning on doing more than that, at least double in some of that, and I'm not gonna work as hard for it. That's what the goal is next year. But I'm using this because it's a concept that is reachable to more people than they even realize. And making $100,000 is, once you do it, you're going to realize that, hey, I'm not rich. Swear to God, I've done it in the street, so I already knew it wasn't what it was made of. I'm saying making $100,000 legally is not going to make you rich. In fact, you're going to struggle some days. Like, it's literally days that I went and paid for something for my business. I may have spent 4, 5, $6,000 and was like, dang, I'm looking at my bank account like, dang, it's only a few thousand left in there. So you make investments, you do different things. I'm telling you, $100,000 is not what you is literally something that if you've never done it, you're looking at it like it's something. And I did this without a full-time job, like without um, like clocking in and working for somebody and just, it's people that got that on salary. But I'm saying I hustled $100,000 doing contract work and different things like that, and actually within my business, like making things happen. And I'm telling you, it is not what people think it is until they do it. Like once you do it, you understand it. And I didn't have that train of thought because I've done it before in the streets. But when thought about it legally, I'm like, "Look, I can do this legally," and, that was a goal that I set because coming home, I just wanted to do 50, and I did that kinda quick, and I was like, "Dog, you could do 100," and now I'm like, "Dog, you could do 250, like, you don't have to do this, so next year, I know I can do 250, at least. I know I can do a quarter million next year, like, it's not an unrealistic goal, it's not something that I'm wishing on a star for, it's something that I'm looking at and saying, "You can do 250." Like, if you're not doing 250, you bullshitting. So, with me understanding that, now I'm looking at, okay, what type of person can make a quarter million dollars? And that's the type of person that I'm becoming. I'm working towards that person. So that's the whole thing you have to understand in the process of changing your identity. You need to decide the type of person that you want to be. You need to prove it to yourself with small wins. The third chapter is all about the science of how habits work, and James covered these four steps. It was the cue, the it was the cue. Hold on, I wrote it down. Okay, the cue, the craving. My handwriting is so small, y'all. The cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. So the cue and the craving, they are in the problem phase, and then you have the resolution phase, which includes the response and the reward. So in this in this particular book, it's all about creating good habits, and you have to realize the bad habits. So you have to break bad habits and create good habits. And there are laws. So you have the law of making it obvious, which is your cue, and then you have the law of attracting. Then you have the law of easy, how easy it is to actually get the response, and then you have your reward. So I'll cover this as simple as I can cover it. So let's say I smelt cookies being cooked. I'm on a diet. Let's say I'm on a diet and I smelt cookies being cooked. That's a cue. I smell these cookies. The cookies are being cooked. I smell them as fresh baked cookies. And the smell is taking me into the second stage, which is the craving. Now I want these fresh cookies, and it's attractive to me. My response would be, I can just walk into my kitchen and get these fresh cookies. It's so easy to get these cookies. And the reward would be tasting these great cookies. So now you have all four stages of this particular habit loop. So in this habit loop of the cue, the craving, the response, and then the reward, you are looking at eating this cookie and you're on a diet. That's a bad habit. So, in order for me to break this bad habit, I have to make the cue invisible. And that would include don't cook no cookies around me. I don't want to smell it. So, the craving of it would have to be unattractive. I would have to make it unattractive in order to break this bad habit. So now I would have to despise this cookie. Ugh, I hate this cookie. I don't want it. My response would be it would have to be difficult for me to get this cookie. I would need to put something in place to keep me away from this cookie because I can walk into the next room and get this cookie. I need to make it difficult to get to this cookie. And the reward, I need to understand that it's unsatisfying. Man, I'm straight on this cookie, right? So that's what you do even if you quit something cold turkey, you do it all in one thing. Look, man, I'm good. I don't want nothing around me. So that's how you look at a habit loop. You have a cue, which means that you see something or you smell something, your senses are excuse me, your senses, you sense something, and that could be good or bad. So then you sense it, then you crave it, and if it's attractive, you go get it, and then you respond by actually going to get it, and then you have a reward. And once again, I use cookies. I love sweets, y'all. So the reward is how good it tastes or how good it feels or whatever. So if you're a cheater, it's the same concept. The cue would be seeing something you like or somebody you like. Dang, she looking good over there. Boom, you got a craving. Man, dang, I want to get my hands on her. Your response would be reaching out. Hey, how you doing? I'm such and such, or hey, you in the inbox or whatever. The reward would be actually getting it off. Bam, I handled that. You know what I mean? That's your reward. Boop. So now you have to break that habit, and in order to have a good habit, then your cue would be to make it obvious. So now you have something good. So instead of the smell of these fresh cookies, maybe I have a granola bar or some type of protein bar close to me, because now that's obvious. So instead of the cookie, I got a protein bar here. So the craving, and it would be attractive. I understand that this protein helps me. I make it attractive to myself. My response would be, this is easily I can easily get to this, and the cookies are further away. Bam, I got the protein bar here. Bam. So now the reward would be, dang, this is a good protein bar. I understand why I'm eating it. Everything's good. I don't feel bad about it afterwards. And it's satisfying. So that is a lot of the things that was covered in the first three chapters of Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you are not in my real life business builders group, then you did not receive the email with the link for this book, and you will not receive anything else unless you are in the group. If you are in the group and you are looking for some other type of welcoming, there is no welcoming. I'm sending everybody within the real life business builders the information for the book club until I narrow it down to people who just want to be in a book club, or people who explain to me that they don't want the emails. So I'm not overly sending these emails. It's not junk or spam. If you have not received the email, but you are in the group, then you need to check your spam folder. And I'm going to do these once a week. I will try to do them on Saturdays or Wednesdays. Those are the only 2 days that I'm gonna narrow down. So it would be Saturday at 6 or Wednesday at 6, depending on my kids' schedule. I do have 4 children, and depending on if they got cheerleading, football, basketball, whatever they got going on, that's when I would decide what day of the week. And if you do not see it, then you will be able to get the replay. I am taking this down from everywhere else today. This will only be up until I'm done with the next live, and I just want to make sure that people understand that this is not a live that will be up later. You have to be in the real life business builders community to watch this live on replay. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I look forward to next week's coverage of maybe chapter 3 through 6, maybe chapters 4 through 7 or 4 through 8. I'll look at the book and decide what makes sense. Thank you.